Okay, so hi again guys. I've been doing a little more research into this game. It wasn't that I hadn't researched it at all, it was just I hadn't really looked into it deeper than sort of why it was made and everything like that and how it was made. It's quite interesting. And I found out, for a start, that scene we're just fading away from is called the Violence District. Because I guess these are possibly names made up by the players, but maybe by the game creators, I'm not 100% sure. But basically, because the most violent stuff happens there, as we've already seen as well. There's another place called Happy Land or Happy Town, which is the brightly coloured children-like place that I've been to a couple of times. I think I've recorded it as well, with the brightly coloured textures. And then there's somewhere else I've forgotten now, but and these giant landscapes are sort of neutral places. I've also found that when you have a transition to another dream, red means the dream's generally taking a more violent turn, which generally means you'll end up in Violence District, and the pinky purple and the blue generally means the dream is taking a happier turn, and you'll normally end up in the Happy Land or Happy Town. I've forgotten what it's called exactly. So that's quite interesting, and white and black mean neutral, or you're waking up and the dream's ending. So that's quite interesting to me. I found the creator who did this made a dream journal for 10 years, which is quite a long time. I mean, I've tried to do them before, and I've got bored after a couple of nights, especially if you don't dream and then you just kind of forget about it. Not that necessarily he kept it every single day. So now it's gone to blue. That sort of gives the illusion that it's going to be more happy. There you go, so this is Happy Land, Town, whatever it's called, but this is the place where you can get hit by a train. It's not graphic or anything, it's just, you know, that can happen to you. I was also looking up to see, you know, what I haven't seen yet, because it does, even when I'm not recording, feel like, you know, I've shown you guys everything and you just keep saying the same things over and over again, but apparently there is a lot, and there's a lot I've not seen, so I'm going to keep going with it, keep persisting. And stuff obviously doesn't just happen in the Violence District, it happens in the happy place and the neutral places as well. I also found out the soundtrack to this, the music, is composed of apparently 500 different music tracks, which is a lot. Especially for, you know, a game that ended up with a relatively small following. And apparently the sound of the footsteps isn't particularly popular, but I found it, you know, especially during the more quiet landscapes and the more particularly downer dreams, so the woman hanging herself and that sort of thing, I found the sound of the footsteps quite reassuring. Because you don't really have a sense of yourself much in this game like you do in other games where you've been introduced to a character, or in more modern games where you use the Kinect or whatever and you're basically playing yourself. You just feel a little bit lost. I also found an interesting fact that this particular thing I looked up said that they felt that the reason why you can't interact a lot in the dream, which has been one of my complaints, is a little strong, but one of my notices is you can't interact with things in dreams. And they don't often interact with you. But she pointed out, and it's true if you think about it, you don't often see your own hands in dreams, and if you do see your own hands, you can't often feel what something feels like. You know, some people reportedly can smell in dreams and, you know, things like that, but you can't really feel stuff in dreams. So that's quite an interesting concept, that maybe this is more dreamlike than anything else, because of the whole not being able to touch things and not being able to interact. But it would be a feature that I'd love to see if they're able to recreate this game, is to be able to interact with your environment a little bit more. That's interesting, because it went to blue, which is purportedly more happy, purportedly, and it's taken me to the Violence District where more disturbing stuff happens. I don't think it necessarily means something happy is necessarily going to happen, just like the red doesn't mean necessarily something bad is going to happen. Just trying to remember what else I was going to say. So this is Violence District anyway. So what happens around here so far is there was a woman who hung herself, which is the noise of the rope, which is over this side. I'm sure I could find it again if I wanted to. and the man who shoots you, and the car that drives into the river. I'm also curious as to if you can see more than one of those things at a time, or if it's only one thing at a time that happens, if that makes sense. So, in the scenario where the woman hangs herself, can you also see the car drive off the river? Or is that only one thing at a time? Right, so what have we got here? Okay, so instead of the eye, we've got some script there instead, and this is the lamppost where she normally no, so she is hanging. So, I made her fall off last time as well, but I've forgotten how I did that. Let's give it a go. Oh, there you go, you just walk a little bit close and it knocks her off. You know, you can't interact with her any more than that. It's quite interesting because you know, it's like a bit like the man who shoots you. There's limited interaction with each object. So I just got bored of me there. My phone just went. Oopsies. Oh. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I decided I better answer that text message and put my phone on silent. It was a friend from Amsterdam, so I thought it was quite important to reply to them before it got too late over there. Okay, so I was going to show you that in more detail, but the screen disappeared, so I'm sorry about that. But basically, there we go. I managed to get all the way down close to the bottom, but it wasn't a particularly bad dream. It wasn't even the one where the woman hung herself or anything particularly bad happened, so I have no idea what they're judging it on. But the website which I found more information also found that problem with the static and dynamic situation. They found, let me see what this is before I continue. Aha, weird running man. So they found that they couldn't really control the static and dynamic. So for example, they just stand still totally for the duration of one dream, and they didn't get any closer to the static, so you would have thought that would have been all the way at the static. And they moved around frantically and didn't get anywhere near the end of dynamic either. So I think there's general consensus that it doesn't quite make sense as far as the static and dynamic goes, and it seems to me that the up and down a bit isn't particularly clear either. So let's see what's going on here. Oh. Okay, oh, I can only move forward, okay. Camels again. And apparently the dream is supposed to end when you see like a real film image of whatever, but I've had dreams just end abruptly, so I don't think that's necessarily true. And apparently there is sort of an Easter egg secret thing that happens, turtle, after filling the up or down, filling that whole screen and visiting every single dream. But apparently it's very difficult to do, which has already sort of proved itself, because you do end up in the same square over and over again, even if the dream's totally different, and I'm going to plummet to my death. Okay. So, you know, I don't have a lot to do over summer, and this game's intriguing enough that I could probably visit once a day for about 10 minutes and hopefully get the squares filled eventually. And then if there is any sort of Easter egg, obviously I'll record it, just like I'd record if the urban legend of the grey man and the torture came true. I could sort of see increasingly with like the violence district how that rumour became reality. How people were so ready to believe that the stream could actually contain some sort of, you know, torture, because it's a Japanese game. Obviously a lot of their horror films are surrounded with degrees of torture. Because it's a Japanese game, it's arguable that it won't be available to a mass market. Hello there. Can you get in there? Look, some sort of Buddha. There's a floating Buddha on that level as well, so I think it's associated with that. But it's arguably it wouldn't be available to a mass market, and because of the randomisation of textures, maybe people thought the urban legend could be true because of the the fact that you could argue that you could play this game 100 times and never get the same textures. So who's to say that someone didn't get different textures from you? Because I've never seen these textures, for example. But I still think it's a big fat lie. A very good one, because unlike other lies, it's based on a real game. And because you can actually see somebody include it in there, because it's based on someone's dreams, and who's to say he didn't dream about that? Not in a sort of sadist way, just in a general creepy way, like he appears to dream about a woman hanging herself and someone being shot. So I love this peacock. She's so cute. You would have thought walking into more happy things like a peacock is traditional sort of happy would lead you to a happy place. It seems to have on this occasion. Got to be honest, I don't normally mind the footsteps, so on this particular level it's rather annoying. But you can imagine the feet being on the floor being quite bumpy and trampoline-like, which is quite nice in a weird way. Oh, I hate that wall, it makes my head hurt. Ooh, what's that? Oh, birds. Then you've got, oh, stop appearing, Mr. Grey. Then you've got a few minutes left here, so before the video stops recording. Sometimes there's like a couple dancing in here, but not today. I wonder how much Mr. Grey affects things, whether he, because he's obviously quite, in a way, a scary figure, he's quite abrupt and he makes screen flash and everything like that. I wonder how much he affects even happy dreams. So you make the happy things disappear. Oh, never seen that before. Oh, that's weird. Never been here before either. Okay. That's bizarre. So, this is another thing that the person typing the review about this game said, was after a while it sort of ran out of textures and stuff just started to be invisible. So maybe that was an example of a normal world that had invisible textures and I just fell off something or into something. My phone nearly made me jump then. This game makes you strangely tense considering nothing bad is necessarily going to happen. It's quite interesting. That is an amazing feat. It makes you oddly tense. I don't know if it's because of the sudden appearance of Mr. Grey, even though he's not particularly scary, or if it's just, I don't know, something quite unnerving about the game. I'm not quite sure what it is, but for whatever reason, I don't normally jump unless I'm sitting in complete silence or actually watching a horror film. Yeah, this girl plays football or kickabout or whatever by herself, and you can't join in, which is a shame. It's another element not being able to interact with the dreams. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it there because this is where we were at the beginning. I'm sorry nothing particularly stupendous happened in the stream. A few things happened I've not seen before, which is nice and everything like that. But like I said, this is mainly sort of updated about what the game's about and what I've managed to find out about the game by doing a little bit of research rather than me actually saying, look at the interesting thing I found. So yeah, leave your comments, especially if you know how the up or down etc. works on the game. Be quite interested in that. Comments if you have completed the game, as in filled in all the squares. The game never actually finishes as far as I'm aware, you can just keep playing it even if you filled all the squares. I'm like a giant bird ahead. Anyway. So yeah, let me know if you've uncovered anything that's sort of foolproof that you can make happen again, because that'd be quite interesting, or if you've managed to fill all the little squares, or just anything that you find remotely interesting about the game. I will only record now and post anything if I find anything significant and anything interesting worth posting, because I have posted several stuff there that you've seen before. So thank you for watching again and have a nice evening.